Hey guys, this is the other matches for Low Elo Legends, number 19, bracket 3. This is round 4 of the Swiss matches. So I was 1 and 3 at this time. Um, we are playing on Frisian Marshes, which is a really cool map, probably one of my favorite maps. We're playing against Vice Bros, who is Delhi. He's over here. One big reason I love Frisian Marshes is that there's ample food in terms of sheep, and the resources start away from their base. So as you can see here, you get some food, and of course you get safe food with the sheep, but your gold is always going to be out of range, and your stone is always going to be out of range. So that basically means that an aggro strat is viable. It's not a risk. I mean, it is a little bit of a risk, but it's not like 100% like 50 toss up or whatever. It's 100% that there's an exposed resource that you can raid. The risk is if your opponent's going to counter it, because you are going into it blind. So collecting a bunch of sheep with my con here in the middle, really important to hit that middle before your opponent does. You can see my opponent kind of went north, and then he hit the middle a little bit late. Let's just reveal map all. But he's got a good haul of sheep here. He's got 10. So yeah, we spot out where his gold is, and behind this, we've dropped our GC close to this gold. Go on the gold. No Uvu production. We still got plenty of sheep to pick up in our base, and we're sending over our horsemen immediately. Against Delhi, it's possible to kind of get this Russian. As you can tell too, he didn't drop a moss, so he doesn't have a healer. And some players are doing more of this build too, as Delhi. So it allows you to kind of get this raid in. You can tell his wood is a little bit low. He's at 30. He's only got one villager on wood. So that's kind of the big reason that we go for this horseman raid early. Is we slow down his age up time, and we're forcing him onto wood. He's already going on to food. We're really forcing him onto wood here. Behind here, we've picked up a bunch of sheep. We've got 14 sheep. I think I missed micro. Yeah, so this is kind of a timing thing that I lose. Now I got these villagers chasing after these sheep, and it's kind of a big mistake. Behind this, I'm able to hit his gold here, and I pushed him off of gold. Big mistake here. So I pull my villagers back. I don't want them killing these sheep. I was microing, doing other things. I'm going to pick up all these sheep again. There's more sheep on the side. We are burning down this. He immediately reacting. You know, some players will stay here and try to keep collecting and fight this. They can't one of the horsemen. But he's not even going to mess with it. He's just going to collect more wood and get a barracks out, I'm sure. There's some pluses and minuses to it. It's definitely a lot more micro-intensive to do the fight. And we're going to pick up the sheep that we see around our base here. If we go to our vision, you can see we've only scouted this bottom half, and he's almost scouted the entire map. He's got 13 sheep here, which is a nice healthy amount, and he's got a couple sheep here. His other scout back here has collected another 5, so he's got a really good sheep haul. Definitely scouted the map more than I have, and now he is pushing me, and I can't see it until he's basically hitting me here. So we do notice we pull back in time, which is good. We're being attentive here, but we do have 2 horsemen now. And now we're not super committed. We weren't sure if we were going to commit super hard, but we are committing a little bit more. We're dropping another horseman because we really wanted to keep him up for gold here, and we've done a pretty good job so far in doing so. And the big thing is these villagers are getting kind of idle time, and he does have his spearman coming out right now. So we see the spearman, and we know we can't really stay here. So this third horseman was probably a little bit of overkill. So, but it is what it is. And we are dropping a tower up here on this forward gold. We're kind of hoping that he stays back and doesn't fight us here. But he does kind of push us. We do have to pull back this horseman. A little bit of sloppiness over here. And he sees our villager, and he's going to start fighting us here. And we're just going to attack with the villager, and attack with the horseman here. Actually, I thought I pulled the villager here, but we just leave him there. So he doesn't fight us with his spearman, which was kind of nice. Kind of gives us a little bit of a reprieve there. Keeping our villager production going. And he is starting to age up. So we aren't actually able to delay his age up. after hours. I think the third horseman might have been a little bit of an overcommittal. After killing that spearman, we do try to get another raid on here. We see he's got that spearman, and this tower I figured was going to come up. I mean, just barely, but it looked like it was going to finish. So we finished the tower, and we're going to garrison our villager. There we go. And that gives us a pretty good vision here of his front of his base. So basically one more tower, and we've basically almost have the entire vision of this front of his base. Um, Behind this, we are tapping up with deer stones with 4 villagers, and we've got 9 villagers onto food, and we're getting more villagers onto food, and we'll have 2 villagers on wood. We are building a scout to accompany our horsemen in their raids. We are trying to drop another TC or another tower up here. A little bit of miss micro. We're gonna lose the horseman, I think. And yeah, takes a lot of damage. We do see the scout coming, and we know we're not gonna be able to stay and hold this. Yeah, he's got a scout over here, so we just canceled that tower, and we're trying to pull our villager back, but he wasn't gonna survive anyway against these 2 villagers. And we're just going to garrison in this front tower with our horsemen so we can kind of fight those spearmen. And we can kind of hold a presence here with these horsemen, even though we don't have anything a direct counter to the spears, and he's technically countering us. He's going really heavy on gold. It's going to be for sure for uh, production of scholars. He is dropping off his first mosque now at the 6.5-minute phase, but you can tell this aggression did slow down his age up. He's at 6.5-minute age up, which is it's usually like a 4.5-minute age up. So we've definitely delayed him a little bit. We are also delayed, unfortunately. Kind of overcommitted with the third horseman. You can see we don't lose our horsemen or our scouts here, so we definitely could have aged up without one less horseman, one less scout. So that was a pretty. I mean, it's hard to make that call sometimes, but it definitely slowed us down a little bit there. But the big thing is now we are dropping an Uvu. We're building the Uvu with 2 villagers, and then we're going to drop an archery range. So we know he's kind of cornered back in here. We can kind of control the kind of the rhythm of the game, and because we got this front position on him, we are tapping up our archery range. So we're not going to produce, and we are producing more horsemen. So it's not a feudal all in, not yet, but we are definitely committing to making a few more manga die. We wanted to have a good force here that we can harass. If we can push him off of gold again, it's going to be a pretty big thing to get him off of this gold income. He wants it for scholars, he wants it for castle age. We figured correctly that he was going to make a few scholars, so his gold went down. Sorry, excuse me. And we do spot out this scout running around, so we're able to kind of pick him off. The horsemen will catch up to him, and we are building Mangadai now. So we got double Mangadai production, and they're rallying to our tower here as our front position. So we got a pretty good spot here. He's kind of scouting us around here. We got 4 villagers on gold, so that's one more villager than necessary to keep constant Mangadai production. And what that helps us with is just a little bit of extra gold for aging up and for upgrades, but it is not sustainable. And now you can see that we are on 6 onto gold, so we're pulling at those 2 extra villagers that we're building onto there. We also dropped a tower on this front Uvu for movement speed. You can tell there's a small gap in between the towers here of 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Maybe a little bit more that we lose movement speed, but it's definitely going to help moving in between those 2. Pulling 9 villagers here. We have tons of sheep, but we don't want to be investing at all into pastures yet. I don't want to be chewing up the sheep there. I want to be able to produce villagers and just send them on to these sheep here. So I'm pulling all of these villagers to build this gur and start collecting sheep. And we're going to build a tower first, and then we're going to build a gur. And he is building a stable. He still has a barracks, and he's got a decent force of spearmen up. He's got 2, 5, 7, 8 spearmen. So he's kind of establishing the spearmen right now. And we have a decent force of cav. We got 7 cavalry. 2 of them are scouts. So we're going to kind of check out his gold again, see what's happening. Behind this, we only have one manga die. Yeah, we've got one manga die. Oh no, we got more. Okay, so we got there's technically three manga die, and the con's a fourth. Um, so we're kind of putting a little bit of pressure here, seeing what we can see. We see the blacksmith. We still see we see a barracks. I guess we had seen the second barracks, so we know that he's got two barracks now, so he can get a good production. And we're able to fall back before we lose any units, which is pretty nice, especially since a couple of them are super weak. And yeah, we can't really fight that contested here, but we are pulling the Mangadai over to kind of deal with this now. That is a fight we can contest. And he's just got a lot of spearmen here, and he's getting horsemen out, building another stable. So he's committing to spears and horsemen, which I don't think is the right combo versus Mongols. I mean, sometimes yes, because they'll go archers. Against this build with Mangadai, no, but he hadn't seen the Mangadai yet, so I guess that's the big thing. He's starting to burn down our tower here. We're able to garrison a couple. We lose a couple of horsemen, but behind his attack on our tower, we are hitting his goal, and we're gonna get three villager kills, which is nice, and also shuts down his gold. Though he has enough to age up here, and we kill this spearman. Behind this, we lose our tower. We lose a few more. That was seven horsemen. Or five horsemen, two scouts is now one horseman, one scout. So we kind of lose that position. We lose a few troops, and we have to fall back. But we do rotate from his gold. We go through his wood line. We have a really good vision now of his base. We see two barracks, two stables, so we know kind of how to react. He was hiding one scout back here, but not end of the world. We're collecting our sheep or our deer back here, and we do see him pushing forward. With these guys, we do have a couple of Mangadai that were up here, kind of just from their spawn, and we're going to be able to attack these spearmen, which are very much out of position. And yeah, unfortunately, we run right into these guys, so we lose two Mangadai and our Khan. So really costly mistake. I'm sure doing something else elsewhere, and we're collecting for it looks like second TC. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're doing. Since we weren't going up to castle yet, I kind of thought he was going up to castle. I felt like the best way to keep up with him eco-wise and be able to contest, especially since we don't have really a lot of infrastructure, we're just kind of delaying him with these Mangadai, was to go second TC, I guess. Okay, I guess not. So I just totally miscontrol my macro, and I go up to 900 wood for no reason. Should have a Gur here. Could have had more infrastructure, and we dropped five pastures. So again, that's definitely a big mistake on my part. I shouldn't have macroed that much up without dropping those pastures. If I was just going to drop pastures anyways. He's got a nice force here. He's got 16 military. More guys trickling in, and it's pretty constant. He's got horsemen. He's got tons of horsemen queued. He's got spearmen, not as much, but he's got tons of horsemen queued. So he's building a good army here, and we almost get trapped inside of there. We do notice the last minute that he's got walls going up, and he's about to finish it with guys. The spearmen building it. We pick off quite a few guys here. It's a pretty good trade. We picked up a couple of spearmen. We picked up a few horsemen. You know, we keep picking them up, and we still got strong force of Mangadai here. It is kind of unfortunate we lost basically 3 Mangadai at this point, so we should be up to 12 and 13 with the Khan. But it's okay. He has captured the sacred site, but we kind of pushed back his army a little bit. He doesn't have something that can compete with us in that sense, and he's going for the competent defender now. Which was a little bit once it comes through, I was a little bit worried because that's stone walls, and I have to transition to siege and whatnot. Now that we've dropped all of these, let's see. We bump into this horseman. We're still kind of probing and seeing what we can see, trying to find his army. We do a spearman and a horseman, so we did want to kind of fight him here. And we do realize time where his army is, and we fall back. I didn't mean to, but I shot that boar, and I guess it's gonna fight those guys. Yeah, that was an accident. 100% didn't mean to do that. Still rallying our villagers, and we almost have enough to age up now, and he is aging up. So now that we have enough to age up, we're taking these Mangadai. We're gonna roam around the side. We're dropping more stables, which is good. Definitely going to need more stables to fight this. And we see that he's castle age, so we're a little bit worried in terms of what he's going to be able to do. That castle age upgrade. And our Mangadai here are getting caught by these horsemen. He's got a really nice massive horseman with 11. And we're doing damage with these guys, but we're steady losing Mangadai here. Horseman too, but it's it's a it's pretty damaging, especially right before castle, to lose this many Mangadai, because it's nice to get that age up on and that tech up for these guys. Castle. So from 9 Mangadai, we're down to 3, and it looks like we're gonna lose a lot more. We did get a tower up here, which was nice, and we are kind of burning down with some horsemen, just getting some pinging on his screen, which is going to be kind of bothering him. And we're still dropping down. I mean, he's lost a lot of horsemen too, but we're down to 1 Mangadai in the con. We did drop another tower here to kind of defend these villagers, since we had 9 of them. And yeah, he builds another wall, and his base is going pretty good. And we fall back to these towers, and we unfortunately don't get in this villager. I don't know what exactly he was doing, but you can tell Combine of the Defender, he's got these stone walls up, so I kind of knew what he was doing. That he had Combine of the Defender, because yeah, I saw his villagers building this, or military units building those walls. We come through on the sacred site, and we see that he's got horsemen, and I would have stayed and fight the horsemen and traded with them. But the big thing was I saw the spearmen, so we just kind of have to pull back. And we are remassing our Mangadai, so we don't want to lose those guys again. And now he's got the double sacred site, and he's going to get the sacred site victories going now. So timer is starting to crunch down, so it puts a little bit of pressure on us to do this. We didn't go with the curl tie. I really need the stat readout for gold income. I'm fully committed to my villagers on food and wood. And gold, I can't dedicate too many more villagers here. My eco isn't able to sustain it, and military at the same time. We are producing knights. We got a few knights out, and we've transitioned to 3 ranges for more Mangadai, and we are building a prayer tent to start collecting these relics. He's dropped a second TC. He's dropping a keep by this TC. I don't know about the positioning here. I think it might have been a little bit better over here on this gold and this other untapped. But he does have a gold back here. Yeah, it's not bad. It's close to the here as well. It's close, and it protects this gold. I didn't see this gold. Okay, so it's a pretty good place. It is definitely a defensive keep though. And against Mongols, I think offensive keeps might be a little bit better. We did have him a little bit pressed against the wall, and back up against the wall. That's probably why he felt he needed to do a defensive keep. We got an okay mass of Manganite, not super shredding here with 5 units, but it's enough to run around. We do see his scholar wanting to pick up these relics, so we're just running around trying to fight that, and we're gonna bring these knights in to hit that monk, and not let him bring that back, which is pretty good. And then he's got some knights, and he's got men at arms, so we're gonna decap this. He can't stay and fight this without losing all of his troops. This is still with a stone wall, and he's building more stone walls up here, which isn't a bad move, closing off the map completely. Yeah, scouts still chilling here. Villagers have rotated to fish here, which is actually better than the boar in terms of resource collection. So a nice switch here. The sacred site blinking red is pretty annoying. I'm not gonna lie. It makes it hard to see your where your incoming attacks are. So he's building up these walls. We see him build there. You can see stone walls here. And yeah, we know he's kind of closing out this wall, which has me a little bit worried that he might be going for a full wall on the map, and it looks like he is. So, okay, wow, he's going for a super greedy wall. I can't see these ones because they weren't started yet. That's a super greedy walling, 100%. It would have been very good though, because it would have really shut down my we send a scholar in, or a shaman, and we're going to pick up this relic that he was trying to pick up earlier. We already have another relic as well. TC is still producing units, a little bit behind in unit production. Looks like we're going to go idle here. We do have 30 villagers on food. We're cranking up plenty of that. We have a good amount. We're going to go up to 4 ranges. We're at 3 right now, and we're at 4 stables. So we have solid production in terms of units. He's got 1, 2 barracks. He's got 3 stables, 4, 5 stables. So he's super heavy on cav here, which I don't know if is the right move since we've shown a lot of Mangadai presence. Knights are nice to fight other cav and as well as raids, especially against the Mongols. There is a lack of gates to really help there. We aren't able to pull back that villager in time, unfortunately, so a little bit of a waste. And we're burning down one of these side walls. These towers kind of discourage them from pushing, and these Mangadai, well, they are upgraded now, which is nice. And we're just building a lot of cavalry now. We've got 9 cav in production, 3 Mangadai in production. We have grabbed our second relic. He never got to finish these walls. So this is, again, he's got a good amount of stone walls as well that he hasn't dropped. He kind of is harassing our Uwu here. It's just annoying. It's not going to burn it down. I mean, it might, but I'll probably react. Yeah. Sending our army over to deal with it, and it's just more than anything, it's really annoying. So since his first wall has failed, he's dropping these other set of walls, and we come through and we see that he's dropping walls. He's building it with villagers, so we're going to come through and we're going to raid this, stop this, which is a pretty big move. And we're getting villager kills. We do see him on food here, and he's garrisoning his villagers. We see this keep. We're going to fall back. We kind of overstay at welcome. Lose a little bit more than we'd like. And we've upgraded our tower here to springolds. But he's got almost no spears here. It's almost all men at arms. So it's going to be a favorable fight for us to take with knights. Forces 50 knights, 50% knights, 50% horsemen. And we do have a little bit of Mangadai support here with 6. And then these guys, after leaving this TC, we're just roaming back to his base. We're able to see these villagers. We're able to shut him off from there. And he gets a little greedy. He goes right back to it. He thinks we're just roaming through. We were watching. Besides our fight here, we were fighting this elephant and kind of pushing up the middle. But we do see that he got a little bit greedy there. So hit him again on the side. Going to lose all those villagers. A big eco hit. At the same time, we're able to hold this front here. And he's pumping out spearmen, but they're getting beat up pretty bad. And we got a good amount of Mangadai here fighting. So after we kill those villagers, we just pull these Mangadai. He sends spearmen, but they're not going to be able to hold against that Mangadai. They're going to get shredded. And he's trickling into spearmen. It's a little bit unfortunate. And the tower elephants also get shredded by melee cav. So we picked up this eco, and we were pretty sure that was his only food eco, and we were right. I guess there was villagers up here that he pulled. And we're going to go hit his gold now. He got a lot of gold early on from those sacred sites, but now he's out of gold. He hits our cav with those manga now. We haven't noticed yet. We're just letting him kind of fight. We were probably looking more into his base here. And we pull back, and this is where we notice his manga now. This is going to be a big loss for him to lose that manga now just like that. That's an expensive loss because that's his best counter. So he pulls these villagers over and around to get to the TC, so he does a good job of doing that. And now we're just kind of camping in this cav production here. Unfortunately, we're still in a little bit of range, so we're going to pull him back a little bit. We have moved our stat readout. We do still have 10 villagers on gold, which is sustaining our military. And he's still collecting, a trickle gold from the sacred site. And we had to pull back our cav force when we assessed. We were fighting under this keep a little bit. But we did a lot of damage. We burned down this couple of towers. Took out his main standing army. And he's going to wall here with this force, which is okay move. We do see his villages up there. So we're trying to press him and push him off again. And we're just going to go do a little bit of a raid again. So we're going to work our way down. We see this massive spearmen and massive archers, crossbowmen to be exact. We're just going to pull back while we fight them here. Just kind of a static war. No reason to stay there and fight. And he's dropping a market here. So you can tell he's suffering because of he's got excess gold and his eco took a big hit. If we check eco wise, he's at 55 eco, and we are at 63. So he had a pretty. It looks like I had some mistakes in terms of my villager count because he is barely ahead of me. Um, he's still ahead of me with like 8 villagers after losing a ton of villagers. So behind this, we are now aging up with the white stupa. We got tons of food, so we're gonna tap up with 30 villagers real quick. They can back onto food again, and we're just raiding back here again. He's got to pull these villagers off of wood. Behind this, we burned down this wood wall, and we're gonna take his gold income from him. And his economy is being absolutely idled right now, and he's suffering a lot. And so he's trading some gold for wood there. Oh, he's collecting wood over here, so he's trying to stabilize there. But again, we're idling eco, taking a lot of his attention away. Behind this, we are towering up the sacred site, and we have uncapped his other sacred site, which is pretty nice. And then we bump into these 8 villagers on food. So this is going to be the equalizer in terms of eco, and he just quits. Yeah, so he's going to lose all these villagers. He would have to garrison all of these villagers. I could always rotate back. He doesn't have the army to deal with it. And behind this, we had our cav force somewhere. I can't see because I don't have the mini map. But they rotated from here. They might have rotated up. Oh yeah, they were rotating up to deal with this mill. So they were close to that TC, so they would have been able to help there. So that was the 4th round. So we finished the 4th round of the Swiss phase 2-2, and that put us in a tiebreaker stance, and we had to play. There was a 5th round, so everyone in the bracket had to play a 5th round for tiebreakers to find out who was top 8. I believe there was 16 or I want to say 16 players, maybe 16 or 14 players. So I can't remember exactly, but we had to play another match to determine the top 8. This is a fairly long match. It is 44 minutes, and this was on a map called Mirror Random. So it's random, but down the middle, the map is split and it is mirrored on either side. That's why it's mirror random. There's a lot of relics on this map. We got 6 relics in total. We have this small pond on the side that we could see from the get-go. Since we could see it initially, we decided to drop a dock and go for kind of boosting our economy on dock. We are playing against China, a player named Shineco, and it looks like he's going for kind of a more standard build. And it looks like he is going to go for a dock. It's just a delayed dock. Yeah, but he looks like he is going to go for a dock. So there's a little bit of a delayed dock. We've kind of scouted across the map a little bit, and we've noticed that how the setup was. I kind of thought that he was going to be spawning over here in this area, but he just spawns pretty close. It's similar to Frisian marshes in the sense that it's a really close spawn to your opponent, so early harass is definitely possible. And he is dropping a dock, it looks like. He's 1 wood short. That's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so now he's going to drop a dock. Yeah. So he's dropping a dock. Behind that, we've already dropped a dock, and we've read our first fishing boat out. Eco-wise, he's at 9 villagers, and we are at 8. So there's always that little bit of a discrepancy in villager count. But because we have this dock going up and early, you can tell we are comparative right now. We have 9 villagers, and he's at 9. And so that second eco, or that second dock is really big in stabilizing the production here. And he's just building a fishing boat now. So he's at 10 eco and we're 11. So we're able to surpass his eco, even though we're Mongols, because of this the early immediate dock. We don't have our Uvu going, which is a little bit painful. But again, no Civ really goes for stone until age 2. So if a delayed Uvu isn't end of the world for Mongols, I don't think in change for an early dock. We are producing villagers. It's kind of weird, I'm not used to the villager or the unit production tab being up here, but that's where it's at. Our Khan has collected a bunch of sheep, or a scout has collected a bunch of sheep. We did go double scout on this map because it's mere random. I have no idea what I'm, encountering. So we're trying to scout as much of the map as possible. He's got 1 scout, and that was it. So that's a pretty ballsy move to just go one scout on me random. You know, you have literally no idea of what you're playing on. Besides that, it's mirrored. So yeah, we're trying to finish scouting the rest of this map. He is scouted there, so there's only a little bit of map in this corner that neither player hasn't scouted yet. And there is basically no sheep up there. So we got 4 sheep here, and we've got 7 sheep here. So we got a decent call of sheep. 11 sheep on the way, and we've got 3 in our base. He's got 8 sheep, and he's going on to gold now. We've already been on the gold, and we are 7 on food. Eco-wise, we're still maintaining 1 villager lead, which is good. And gold, we've got more gold. So we're ready to age up with our gold. We have dropped on Uvu now, so it's 4 minutes in. That's like 230 stone, something like that, 240 stone that we missed out on our age 1 stone. And he spots our docks going, and I think he's just gonna leave. This villager, I probably should have pulled off of here by now, and I do. Yeah, I do pull him off. I think I'm gonna send him up to build more docks, because I'd already scouted the map and I kind of know what we have going on for vision. Yeah, yep. So, um, behind this, we've got 10 villagers on wood, so it's a strong amount of villagers on wood. We can definitely rotate into a second TC here fairly easily. I think we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go for another dock over here. We're trying to find a good spot to place a dock without losing too many fish. And age up timing wise, he's collecting a lot more food than us. He must be rallying villagers. Yeah, so he's got villagers collecting food as well, not just relying on his dock. And versus us, okay, we've just started collecting the sheep here. And we've basically focused our. He started aging up 7 seconds after he could afford to. Aging up before us, even though we have a slight eco league. The bonus, I guess, for us is we are a lot stronger on our gold count and our wood count. We're also dropping a second dock up here and a tower to kind of give vision and protection. So again, we're on a little bit slower trickle than he is in terms of age up time, but we've got a lot. I feel like a definitely comparable eco, 100%. So and now we're actually overtaking his food and income per minute. He's tapping up with a few villagers. That's probably why. Yeah, so he's tapping up with 5. And he's only got 6 on wood, so infrastructure-wise, they're gonna have a little bit of a struggle keeping up. So he's just scouting our boats here, and so we're at 9 boats. I don't want to commit more than 9 boats here, and he's at 9 as well. So it's actually a pretty good number that he's got. He hasn't overcommitted, but we're building more boats up here now to get that eco kind of going as a second TC. This gird needs to drop, so that's a little bit of a mistake on my part. And we're tapping up, but we're tapping up with 5 villagers too. Funny. So we both decided to tap up with 5 villagers. And gird still hasn't dropped. I think I'll notice that eventually. And yeah, this tower's getting finished, and we're still producing fishing ships out of here. Stable has been moved to our Uvu, so we can double produce units. And our con is coming over here to check what we can see. So he committed just to 9 on the ships, so that's a really good move. And he has got a second dock going and producing ships up here. Again, we got a slight lead on him. We've got 2, almost with a third boat, and he's almost got his first boat out. So we got basically a 2 boat lead on him on that. And that's because of that early production of the dock. So you can tell resource-wise, we're par right now. Once he finishes the Barbican, now he's going to start producing villagers a lot faster than us, and this is where he's going to probably catch up and overtake us. And he's transferred about 16 villagers onto wood too. So we age up a full minute 40 seconds basically after he does. We do see the Barbican, and we're just going to pull back. I think we lose the scout. I think it's still in range. Okay, he barely survives. And our Khan is over here just kind of shooting these ships. Kind of a waste. I could have scouted the rest of his base and confirmed aggro. If he's going to go aggressive, he has got one spearman out. When the spearman comes after my Khan here, I do fall back. And he's building more ships up here. He does a good job realizing not to over-saturate one pawn. You don't want to commit too many resources into your pawn. It just becomes unnecessary. We are dropping a blacksmith, so we can start getting our upgrades. Behind this, we did get our fishing upgrade, and we're getting our wheelbarrow right now as well. So that fishing upgrade, just because we've invested a good amount of resources here, but that extra 20% boost in income is going to definitely help us. Now there was the possibility of throwing a fishing boat here, and here not really, but this river section was definitely a possibility as well. There's a decent amount of ship in that river. So we scout up here. We do see that he's got a dock up here, so we want to kind of raid him. And we're kind of massing our cav up now to go start getting raids going. We both have played a pretty passive, booming type game. And now his villagers are producing faster than mine. And he's up to 48. So this is where he's starting to take kind of establish that eco lead on us. And he's starting to wall up over here. We do see him walling, and we're able to drop a tower on here to delay this full wall. We wanted to be able to aggro. Over here, our Khan is trying to snipe this villager before he drops this tower. And we're going to pull our spearmen and scout up there to burn down that dock. Unfortunately, this, 4 spearmen are reaching already. And we're also losing forward position with our tower, it looks like. We try to kind of stop this spearmen with these 2 horsemen. And we're going to bring back our horsemen here to kind of ensure that this outpost goes up. We do lose our Khan. Nice thing though is that tower doesn't go up. He's got 7 boats, and I'm not sure if he's committing more. We've got 8 boats. We're not going to commit any more boats to there. Let's see. Yeah, we do have villages being produced, but you can tell by the eco count he's pulling ahead ever so slowly. So another difference is we were looking to tech up here to H3. We're 10 minutes in, and he is nowhere close to teching up. I guess he's okay. I mean, I guess in 1 minute, and literally in 1 minute, he can be ready to tech up. So, but I figured that he wasn't because he was committing to a good amount of spears. I knew he had a bunch of spears up there and down here, so I felt like I could tech up, and it'd be a good move. A lot of these horsemen were double produced, so these 9 horsemen and 1 scout are actually probably about half cost of what it would normally be. And yeah, we just take some time to burn down these walls. We do have a manga die out now, and we're starting to build our. We have this base over here on the Uvu, kind of nice for upgrades. But we're gonna really build our proxy base a little bit closer. The big thing is make sure we get resources, or I mean, the reinforcements up here in a timely manner. Back here, he does not have any army. Should be raiding, and yeah, he's starting to age up now, and we have aged up. So he is aging up with the astronomical clock tower, and he's committed 13 villagers. So it's not a big deal for him. As Chinese, he's going to tap up super fast. That is really quick build time, to say the least. So we spot his boats here, or his dock, and he's got 8, 10. So he actually goes 10 boats on here, which is kind of surprising because it's more of a commitment than his first one. But yeah, so this is a big thing. We're able to get the burn down on here. He gets the turn in, which is nice for him since he's about to basically idle 10 villagers. Behind this, he's pushing our couple of towers here with his massive spearmen. Can't fight it. We do pull our prayer chant, I believe. Yeah, we pull our prayer tent. We pull our villager. We're just not going to be able to hold this. And looks like we're going to rotate those. A nice thing was that we were able to get the monastery out of there without them burning it down. And we do see he's going to wall it up. We're going to harass best that we can. It's just micro intensive again and taking up a lot of APM. But we do want to slow him down the best that we can here. So one of his villagers comes forward on the attack. And again, kind of doing macro behind this. We are wanting to send this knight in to kind of slow it down. Behind this, we do send these horsemen in to check out his base. Raiding in. I think we hit that house. Yeah, we hit the house. It's a little bit easier to get a house than the granaries. Eco-wise, you see he's pulled ahead a pretty good amount, but because of the raids, we've reduced his eco to only a few villages ahead of us, and he's got a lot of idle villagers. He's got 20 idle, but he's also got 10 of these villagers idle, so he's really running on 56 eco. And there's an additional 10 idle off of that. So we're just gonna pull back a horseman. We got to burn down on the mining camp in the house, which is okay. He's not housed. He's still got plenty of pop cap space. But we're upgrading our horsemen now that we're castle age. Spearman gonna have to fall back, and he's sending a villager to build that dock up. This is definitely a pick that if we had gotten would have been really nice. I think we're just gonna pull back completely though. No, we're gonna work on these walls. Okay. Behind this, you can tell that our infrastructure isn't really advancing here. We're missing definitely some of our blacksmith upgrades. We haven't gotten. We've only gotten one of the melee attack upgrade, which is probably one of the least productive ones. And part of it was we were kind of suffering on gold. So now we've transitioned more of our villagers onto gold. And our food is also kind of in a weird spot right now, where it's really not cranking out as much as we should be. So at this point, I definitely should have checked that. Checked out the dock up here. And he's got his eco back online now. That's a pretty big deal. Come here, we see all these spearmen, and we just gotta pull back. We do see the monk kind of pick up the relic, so we wanted to kind of focus a little bit on maintaining this area. And we also begin to see production of Choco Nu, or Ju Nu, whatever. And our Mangata are going to do really good damage against these spearmen. Over here, his spearman almost snipes our villager. Our villager's alive with 0 HP right now. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so he's got like 0.5 life or something. And we take this fight here because we were able to shoot a bunch of his spearmen down with our Mangadai. And he's still got a bunch of spearmen and they're still doing a lot of damage, but we're getting a pretty good trade up here on his Ju Nu, so I felt like this was definitely a worth fight. And especially since we had another reinforcement of 9 cav. This cav, if it had gone up to here, would have been pretty big, but you can tell he's got a ton of food. Absolute disgusting amount of food. And he's going to rotate on the gold now. So we're pushing up, we're pushing forward, we're kind of rotating out of that position. It's so close to his production. We got to focus on that monk during his Wololo. And we kill all of this little army here. We're going to burn down this mill. And we do see these villagers. It's 35 villagers. That is half his eco running around. And they're going to start getting peppered by these Mangadai. So a little bit of miss micro here on my part. And this is definitely a big, I mean, not a huge mistake, but this is the difference of losing about 5 villagers, 6 villagers by now, maybe even 10. But it's that little bit of mismanagement of the micro. It's probably macroing behind it. And over here, macro, we're producing a lot more stables. We've collected 3 relics, and we pick off a lot of villagers. So we've killed around 20 villagers. That 25 villagers is down to 14, so about 10 villagers. No, yeah, about 15 villagers we picked off there. And if we had migrated properly, maybe 5 of those villagers, or 10 more of those villagers would have been dead. So little details like that really do add up. But now there's a big difference in our eco. So now he's on 48 eco and we are on 67. And yeah, we're just gonna run around. We know where his gold is in the back that he pulled off of. It's kind of a ballsy move to set up for this front gold. And we're checking out to make sure that this gold isn't, this relic isn't getting picked up by a monk. That's why we sent those knights there. And a little bit of an overcommittal. Take a lot more damage than we need to against those spearmen. But we do trade out decent with the spearmen. We almost pick off all of them. And we're going to come through here where we see his spearmen. And we do see his villager line here. But we just we couldn't really fully commit to this. You know, it would have been better to hold in this choke point. So that's kind of what we do. We want him to funnel through there. Behind this, we still have this hole in the wall. And we're going to set up our vision again and kind of push through here. And we do have a tower in the back. And 6 stables. Up in the front, we got another one in the back, and we got more ranges. And picked up a relic somewhere. Okay, yeah, so we picked up this relic that was up here, so we're bringing that back. So we've got 3 relics, we're bringing a 4th in, so we're trying to get relic dominance, which is pretty big, because we are shutting down his gold. These boats are still going. Again, that's definitely another thing. If we had shut down, that would have been started affecting it pretty big. And I was a little bit confused because I knew he was getting these boats were still getting income, but I couldn't, you know, when I ran through, I didn't see farms. All I see was wood production, gold production. So I wasn't sure where he was getting his food. I figured it was these fishing boats. We burned down a couple of the boats here, but he's able to pull back. There isn't a lot of food left. There's only 500 food left in this pond. And so we pull back. Our knights are over here burning this down. And at this point, I think I finally start thinking, and I figure, you know, where his fishing boats probably are at the top. So I think I'm going to send a raid over there soon. We are still producing infrastructure in the front here to kind of hold that foothold we have. And he did pick up this relic, and he almost brings it all the way into his base. So we're kind of in a choke point right here. And our knights are fighting. They're not getting super wrecked because they can kind of fight against the Chokonu decent. And but overall, we kind of have to fall back. We can't stay there, and our production is kind of I mean, it's going, but it's kind of trickling. We're not sending in massive waves, and we are trying to drop an outpost kind of up front. We did send our monk up there, and unfortunately, can't find anything. His scout is doing a little bit of damage here. And we pick up the 5th relic and we're going to drop it off, which is really nice. Second prayer tent is down here. So we're going to 5 relics to his 1. His still needs to get picked up and placed. We got a good mass of Mangadai. We got 16 and we got 9 knights. So good for us to be able to kind of hold this front position and fight somewhat. And eco-wise, we're at 70, is at 52. So this is where we're kind of pulling ahead and really solidifying our lead. We also spend a ton of wood onto pastures. We're going to go up to 16. We do have tons of sheep here, and we're transitioning our fishing eco into pastures. Our wood line also finished, and we're pulling our gers over to this side, and we're building one more. I like to have 3 gers on the village. It's a good amount to kind of pull and move up until you get pop capped. So we do realize finally that he was fishing up here, and he does still have 3 shoreline fish. So there's 2,000, maybe 2,500 food that we're able to kind of deny here with that burn down. We also took his uvu, this stone on his side, and we're going to drop a tower to kind of defend it. And we do have another outpost over here. We should have been dropping more towers to kind of cement a front line here. But he's got a nice mass here. He's got a really nice mass. So 36 Chogunu, 8 crossbows, and 27 spearmen. So 71 army. And, we got an okay force here, but it's not going to be able to fight this. We just have to fall back with our Mangadai, kind of pepper these spearmen. But it makes it really hard to commit to these archer units when there's that amount of spearmen. So our knights are going to try to come in and dive, but it just gets really difficult to focus down those archers. So we're bringing in more knights, and they're kind of fighting up here, and we're bringing in knights from the back, and they're doing some good damage. So we've got a little bit of a sandwich, but there's a lot of spearmen here, and we're trading okay, but we're not able to. We're trying to micro the spearmen. I don't see this one spearman up front just murking our guys, so we end up losing a lot of our army here, and we do have to fall back. On the plus side, we do have a couple of towers to kind of help hold this side of the bridge, and the couple of knights that survive, we're just going to pull through and do some eco damage. Eco-wise, I think we messed up our villager production. We're still building a couple, and we also have 1,000 food or wood. Oh, you know, part of it is we lose these 8 ships. We have to demo them because there's no longer fish here. So that's why our eco count kind of dropped down. I do realize that our eco on food for the transition is suffering really bad. So we're going to drop a second TC and really pump out villagers to kind of stabilize our food eco. Speaking of which, his food eco is at 16. So these losses for his military were definitely, I feel, more impactful for him than they were for us. And he's coming up to build another dock. This time with this next dock, he's able to kind of really cement. We were going to try to slow down any of the stone, so we're trying to build towers here and kind of hold here. We are dropping more production. 4 more ranges up at the front here. And the big thing is just keeping our production close to this battle point. For whatever reason, the focal point kind of became around this bridge. I could have broken a wall through here, but I didn't really want to. I kind of want to be able to use that as his walls against him. If you guys building a gate, I'll kind of know. We did build a trap to start trapping down this barbican. Now we do have a sacred site as well. And yeah, we're just trying to kind of stabilize our army here militarily. If he was pushing us right now, we would be in a lot of trouble. We were only at 23 military. We didn't have anything to really deal with this army properly. I mean, I guess if we had Mangadai, he would have a hard time pushing under 2 Springle towers. His spearmen, you know. So it's actually quite surprising how quickly we can burn down buildings. So we're trying to build a tower up here to deny his food up here. We do have 1 Springold, and I mean it's it's sinking a couple ships, but it's not end of the world. And he's gonna build a wall up here, which is fortunate for us. And we're capping a second sacred site. He's also capping his second sacred site. Both of our gold incomes are going to be pretty off the charts. And he's got 2 Springles now, which would take too long to notice. And they do snipe down my Treb. Yeah, Treb's just try to move it, but it's too late. He finds this Springle tower too that was sinking a bunch of his ships. He only lost 2 ships, I guess. And behind this, we're trying to build kind of a line of towers. And we're going to lose these 2 villages. I'm not going to be able to stick around. I probably could have pulled them and pulled all the way up and around here. I guess I was busy doing other things. Villagers getting attacked by this wolf. And our army's at a lot better place. It's still half of what his army is. But the big thing is, to fight those Chuganu, we have these Manganos. And even against Spearmen, those Manganos are super useful. So we come over here to build this. We're going to pull up and around, and we see that he's built a wall. He's building a tower. So we're going to try to drop towers and kind of deny him this area. Again, this is what we kind of try to do down here. He's got a good force of spearmen that can burn down those towers super quick, though. He's rotating onto berries here. His villagers count is stabilizing. He's at 71. We are at 86, so we still have a villager lead, and we're cranking out now from double villagers, and we have 17 pastures. And we're currently maxed on live sheeps too. Yeah, so that's good. There's actually a couple extra. from the pickup. So there's 2. Over here, he's realized that we have this tower. He's also realized this, and we are aging up though behind this. So we're aging up, and we're going to drop even more pastures, and we're going to be up to 23. So this should be able to support about 52, 54 villagers on food, fully upgraded. And we are still to get our fully upgraded food production. So we lose this tower, we lose those 2 villagers. Kind of sucks, but not in the world. Kind of stabilized this front and held it pretty good. He's still protecting these 2 springholds, and he's dropping some towers here and there. And our military is chilling at 42 and 80 eco. And after we have aged up, now he's aging up. So that's kind of like a thing with this, the Chinese too, is they can always age up kind of after you and catch up pretty quick because of their fast age up time, build time. We are pulling villagers onto wood now. I felt like siege was a transition that I needed to start making. We got a springald, we got 2 mangonels. We have 1 siege workshop, 2 siege workshop. So yeah, he ends up aging up only 46 seconds after us. We're getting our veteran Mangadai. He's getting, I believe, a shrine upgrade. He's finishing his blacksmith upgrades. Blacksmith wise, we haven't gotten hardly any upgrades. I think we end up dropping. We do set up a market just in case we have to start trying. Yeah, so we're dropping a second blacksmith, and it's gonna have Uvu bonus on it, which is gonna be nice. We still have this Uvu going out, so we've mined 1,000 of his stone, which is nice. Always comes in handy. And he's going up and scouting. He's gonna find this tower and burn him down, which is okay. And we're just getting a ton of upgrades. Springwood upgrades, Knight upgrades, Mangadai upgrades, armor upgrades. We've got to start getting a bunch more armor upgrades. Yeah, we're getting a cav upgrade for the blacksmith. And we got a good amount of military buildings now. We got 5 ranges. Let's see. So 3 range or three siege workshops, 7 stables, 9 ranges. So decent, definitely good enough to kind of produce an army on the fly. He does pull these guys to take down the Springle Tower, and I think we're able to kill no one. So yeah, so 12 Spearman, he loses no one, but we've basically mined out this Uwu completely. It's yeah, it's got 9 stone on it, so that's hardly anything. We burned down through this wall. We're getting the rest of our blacksmith upgrades. You can see we're just cranking out upgrades. He's getting his spearman upgrades, it looks like. And yeah, we got this raiding force of 14 knights. And they're just getting us some resources from these burns. We do need to drop an Uvu here shortly to start getting an upgrade. And we're going to build a tower up here on the front. So our knights are just going to pull through, up and around. I wanted to pull these spearmen and the scout to this tower. I'd rather, have the tower do a little bit of passive damage here. And yeah, so he pulls 7 villagers, and now he ends up pulling everyone. So I kind of wanted that to happen so I can pull my knights through and kind of raid his eco, which is what's going to happen here. He's got 20 villagers and an imperial official in the line of fire. We are getting our Uvu upgrades, so that means we've built an Uvu somewhere. Yeah, I don't know where we... Oh, there it is. Oh, it's up here in the front, so that's perfect. We're getting our Uvu upgrades. We have our buildings up here. Our siege is in an okay spot. We've got 3 mangonels, so that's a really good spot for me to deal with Herman and Chogunu. And we leave 2 knights. thought I'd left 2 knights to burn on this mill, which would have been a good move. Though he did send 2 spearmen to deal with it. And I sent my shaman to die because I don't need him anymore, I guess. He's building granaries back here. He's going to build his farms. So we've got now Trebs and 1 Treb and 3 Springolds. We're getting cannon tower emplacement up top here, I believe. Yeah, so we burned down this wall, these 26 knights. And I don't think he actually sees these towers coming up, and so we're still building towers here. We wanted to kind of cement that crossing up around the top. You know, for him to contest us with his army, like you see, he has to bring the army all the way up there. So it's kind of a tough thing for an infantry-based army. He's pop capped at 73 eco and 123 military. So it's not a really great place to be because you're behind in terms of where you kind of want to be with eco. And we're kind of near our limit. Around 100 is okay when it's kind of this turtley. Sometimes you want even more on eco so you can start trade and keep constantly producing army. So we run into these spears and we just kind of have to fall back. A few knights. That's okay. On the front here, I don't know why this Treb's running around. Oh, he's trying to snipe us with Springolds here. So they're running up and around. He's going to build a stone wall here. Our Mangadite come up here, and unfortunately are taking a really bad trade here. Coming up and around for a raid. We noticed way late, and but they are fully upgraded, which is nice. So we are able to snipe 2 of his Springolds out with our springs, and our springs are going on a super mission, unfortunately. We're going to try to burn on this dock. I think we set it on fire. That's all kind of we really cared about. And we're just going to fall back. And we're going to keep these Mangadite with these knights. Going to help kite on these spearmen. This Treb, I totally forget about. It goes on a crazy mission because I tell it to attack here. So it goes all the way around instead of just up here and over. So a little bit unfortunate. So we're bringing our military down here to kind of harass his food, which he's transitioning onto. He's only got 11 on the food. So again, every military unit that he loses, infantry-wise, is pretty expensive to him. So we snipe out those guys, but we lose pretty much all of our manga in that process. And we do have our knights here. So we just commit to burning down some buildings. And he's going to rotate back onto us, and so we just kind of have to fall back. Yeah, so we kind of sneak out through. We do lose a few knights. And he's kind of chasing us here. And these 3 Mangadai are going to do quite a bit of damage for just being 3 Mangadai. Again, we've remassed our army here. We're getting close to pop cap again. Our eco is in a much better spot than he is. He's at 67, we're at 91. So we're getting a lot of our upgrades, and we have a nice siege force behind this. 3 Springolds, 3 Mangonels, and the Traction Trebuchet. The big plus with those our Springolds is that they're going to be upgraded springs. So they have the 13 range. And our Trebs have extra damage. And we have just a good force here to kind of push him back. And we do have another group of knights at 13. And he's getting chased by spearmen, but it's not a big deal. And we've kind of gotten a foothold here at the top. With these cannon towers. These cannon towers are really going to do a good job holding this up here. He's not going to be able to build a gate or something up here. Once we break down this wall, we're going to have pretty much cemented that foothold. And with these knights, we're just going to burn a wall. We'll burn a hole through the wall. And we push up with our springs. We tried to snipe some guys here with his springolds. We had our springolds kind of pressed on attack move. Oh yeah, because we were trebbing. That's what was happening. Our trebuchet was attacking over here on his wall. He pulls up his springs to snipe our treb. Our springs are in place ready. And We see he has nets of bees. We're just waiting for his nest of bees to react, and we pull back, and we're just waiting to use our springs here. So that's what we do. Our treb. We now have a hole here and kind of a little bit of a foothold. His army, he's got 112 army. We have 109, so we're both pop. Well, I'm pop cap. He's not pop cap. He's just losing a lot of eco. Yeah, he's at 68 eco. So he's definitely kind of suffering in that department, but we do lose a lot of our army back here. Again, doesn't matter. We're just going to be able to max out immediately. And we see these Chogunu coming up, and we do have to fall back here. We're in a little bit of a bad spot. And he's kind of trying to force us into this choke. But we're bringing the mangonels up. So as this trap was taking a little bit long in terms of demoing things, our springholds are sniping his siege, mangonels. So finally our knights are able to kind of filter through this mess and attack. And you can tell the mangonels are firing, doing a lot of damage. He brings his springs up, and he's sniping our mangonels. But for a push across the bridge, we're not doing too bad here. A little bit unfortunate, we do lose our springs. And we lose our springs and we lose 2 of our mangonels, but 1 of our mangonels survives because we have a better military force without siege. You know, siege is military, but it's not the same as straight up infantry force. So he's got a ton of food villagers. He's got a pole and idle. He knew that's coming up to raid him, which is a smart call. He's bringing in these spearmen to kind of fight us here, and we see nobody wood or food, so we just rotate back, getting quick tapped up. So we're just gonna fight under this keep to get as much villagers as we can. And Choco New, we do see another keep coming up, so that's why we're trying to stop this. And I think we do get the burn down on this keep. So these reactive keeps, I mean, they're not bad. Yeah, so he loses all that stone. They're not bad, but they are late is the big thing. They are reactive, so you always do lose a little bit there. 29 villagers that are idling, and he's putting them back on. And his villager count now has dropped down to 50 vills, and we have a really strong Mangadai mass here with 35. So one big raid through a villager line here will just absolutely crush him. Suffering bad in the villager. Trying to hold on here. We are slow pushing him. We do want to kind of secure the win. We have the treb slowly trebbing down this castle. Once that castle goes down, that's like the last kind of little bit of a defense he has here. We're kind of fighting him under his castle here with our guy. We do have the Mangonel that are helping. We're rallying. We still got a ton of Mangadai back here. We have another 24 to these 36. Total, yeah, 61 Mangadai. So it's a really strong force of Mangadai. And what we really need is some Springles to defend them, because Nest of Bees and Mangonels are really going to do a lot of damage to them. But we have 3 Mangonels now. We're ready to kind of defend them against archers if they push up. And we have a okay cap force. We've got 12 up here up front, and we got 15 in total. So 3 more in the back over here, and an additional 16 in queue. So he starts shooting our trebs with his springhold. We're going to push forward with a knight. Unfortunately, we lose the treb, but we still have 1 more. He's trying to tap up and defend here. And we raided his food line with these like 8 or so Mangadai. We're able to do a pretty good amount of damage there too. You can see we've reduced his villagers down to 40, where he was at 50 just a minute ago. And yeah, things are going to be pretty bleak for him. So he's rotating his whole army up here. We see him trying to wall off his food production. It's a good move. A little bit unfortunate we didn't A-move, I guess, these knights. I clicked them up here, and they're trying to get to where these masses stand, so that's why they're running around them. So we push forward with our Mangadai, trying to pull back these spearmen and his military force to us, and we're doing an okay job of doing so. Let's try to come up and get some shots off on our siege, but our knights are right here. And we lose a lot of our Mangadai here, unfortunately. But again, we have a big reserve, just in case something happened. that we weren't expecting, and he does finish off his wall for his food. So this is really good in a sense because he's securing his food production until something breaks the walls. But it's very safe. It's going to be time consuming. I'm focusing this castle on the front anyways. Behind this, we've got 9,000 gold banked, so we're in a pretty safe spot in terms of resources banked as well. So yeah, now we're up to 3 trebs, 7 manga now. So if he wants to do something against this army, he has to bring springs basically, or just I guess you could bring up just men at arms and spearmen. Bump this. But it's not easy. And he kind of sees how many mangonel we have, and I think he GG's here really soon. Castle's gonna go down. Trebs are gonna siege it down. We turn our mangonels around, and yeah, they're just gonna wreck these Choconew pretty badly. Yeah, so his army's gone. His eco is suffering pretty bad. All he had was the villagers on food, so good match. It was interesting. It was fun on me at random. Not knowing what to expect and kind of adapting the gameplay to that was pretty fun. And yeah, so this match qualified us and placed us at 8th place for the Low Elo Legends number 19 bracket 3, and there's it put us into the finals phase. So we played finals phase after this, and that was it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll upload the next video, and yeah, see you guys on the next one.